Bonjour, and welcome back to the French campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. So this huge battleship force is still heading towards the Mediterranean. They have not changed course, which sometimes they do, and you don't see the actual game information update until you load a save. This force is also heading over here. That huge cruiser force, 17 armored cruisers, 14 lights. Another 7 armored cruisers, 19 lights, and 16 destroyers. They're heading here to Burma, but I've already taken that one, so they're too late. Are we gonna do some port raiding? Against Britain, maybe. Maybe we can try doing that. Since they're sending everything away. Victor Hugo getting commissioned. Will we actually get some port strikes, though? That is a different matter. It's worth trying. I've been striking some of my ports. Let's repay the favor. 14,000 ton armored cruiser sailing around my Mediterranean. We also have 1 battleship, 2 light cruisers. Not much I can do about that. Maybe just let these light cruisers be in port and hopefully generate some transport losses for the British. Maybe not a convoy battle if the British don't have any ships of their own in port to defend the convoy, but we're gonna see hopefully transport losses at the start of the next turn. Onwards to June 1904. And my huge battleship force here outside of Singapore still just fighting a single enemy armored cruiser. But it's another shared assign. It's not one of mine. GHI. I've forgotten who that is again. It's someone. That's a good looking silhouette of a cruiser. So, let's see. Let's just have these joined together. Pierre-Henri, veterans, 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 veterans. They're all veterans. Gonna once again leave it up to the 2 big ones. And once again, this new squadron leader is the one in the back. I don't like that. There we go. That's a quick fix, though. I am curious to see what kind of ship we're actually up against. I think it had 8-inch guns. Which is somewhat on the lighter side. There we go, already firing. Secondaries can be turned off. These four best not get involved. That's a little bit undergunned, I think. And also I'm pretty sure at this stage they would have Mark II 9-inch guns. Well before the Mark II 8-inch guns anyway. So, not a fan of that main armament choice. 9.2-inch would also be a historical caliber for a British armoured cruiser of this era. Anyway, we're gonna destroy it. That inner belt is not doing anything. Let's turn a little bit more broadside, bring the aft turrets into the game. There we go. 4 belt pen. And a main belt pen as well. That's half the ship gone. And also one engine out. And there's the other half. Needs just a little bit more flooding and she's gonna go down. Need to score some hits though. Maybe something along those lines? If only like half the stern wasn't sticking out of the water. No, this is better, I think. Really showing off those curves. There. Getting those main belt pens is so satisfying. And that was it for the month of June. Britain is now losing a lot of transports. I am losing much fewer. 7. Russia has failed to take the Philippines. And the British Army might undo my my invasion of Burma. At least my invasion of Burma kept southern China safe. So there's that. This huge task force is still steaming towards my forces. They're heading straight here. Into the middle of the invasion circle. Well, that is where we're gonna meet them then. Well, you can just stay there. That's fine. No port strikes. Even though I sent up my light cruisers here. Sometimes you just don't get them. So the British economy now, after they've had that revolution and they got the revolution buff, they're growing at 7.5% in wartime. That's pretty good. That is as much as Italy is growing in peacetime. Netherlands with 14.4 peacetime. That is some crazy growth going on. I don't think they've had a revolution though. I'm not sure. Anyway, transport capacity slowly going back up. And I can now, let's see, that cruiser repair that I suspended. We can resume that one. And still be below capacity. That is good. Good. So, onwards. We can't really do much with these forces until after we've taken Singapore. But once Singapore has been taken, we're going to go up and say hello to the Russians. Or just wait for the British to come knocking. That could also be an option. It's going to take a while, though, for the Brits to get there. 6 turns for this huge task force. Let's see if we get something going on here. Off of Egypt. Yeah, looks like we do have a meeting here. Germany wants to become my ally. I think that might be a good idea, actually. To at least get their land forces on board with mine. And here we go. That is one of those huge battles that I tried to set up. That's one of Emily's designs. That's an older ship, though. That's an 1890 design. The Jupiter. Which has only 2 single 10-inch guns. So that is barely... I'd say that barely qualifies as a battleship. Luckily... And this is what I was hoping for when I got a war with Britain early. That many other ships would still be somewhat outdated. So they have a lot of these. MD Hansen, okay. Yeah, these are old Jupiter class battleships. So this is a very old, outdated task force. They've been just sailing around for a while. Bacanti class. That's not the Bacanti SD. That's one of my designs. This is something else. Either someone's shared design or just a straight up AI design. It could actually well be a shared design looking at the armament. It's like very sensible. 9.2 inch. That's, as I said, that's a historical caliber. 11 4.7-inch guns for these light cruisers. Torpedo boats, TB90, that is my design. That is identical to my own TB90, or the initial TB90. Pre-refits. Teaser, I don't know. It could be AI design. It doesn't look very good. Anyway, we have quite a few ships on our side. Some pretty big battleships that I think will make short work of the enemy battleships. Well, this could actually become quite the feast. Let's get our stuff organized. Okay, so we got the smaller battleship leading the charge. That's fine, actually. Armored cruisers can just, hang on, you are not in the battleship division. There we go. Right, torpedo boats. We got a mix here of long range and short range torpedoes. So let me just get those sorted out. Right. So the ones with short range torpedoes, I think I'm just gonna have you fall back for now. Like have you do circles back here somewhere. Just stay alive and I'll get you that refit at a later date. Meanwhile, these four with the long range torpedoes, well, long range for the time being, 4.8 kilometers. You will take a an active part in this. Because if the enemy task force is as outdated as it seems, they're probably going to have a hard time hitting 25 knot torpedo boats at 4 kilometers. Almost 5 kilometers, actually. But we are being spotted first. Good Hope is spotting Solferino. There we are. We are spotting Ocean. 13-inch main belt at plus 15 quality. Let's take a look at these things. Ah, it's these ironclads. Like very funny type of ships. Wait, you got one double barrel 10-inch. And then you got a 6-inch back here. Well, that means there's a whole bulkhead here of main belt hitbox that is not covered by the main belt. So you slow down and go border roadside, like so. That is a lot of battleships that we're up against. Let's pick some targets for these big battleship main guns. Do one lead ship of one division each. Wait a minute. You are just the armored cruisers. Why is my battleship squadron not the lead? That's because the lead ship of the battleship squadron is smaller than the lead ship of the cruiser squadron. That's gotta be why. That's a little bit annoying. That we have to think backwards. This battle. There we go. Battleship targets have been assigned. And they are also on low fuel on some of these ships. First torpedo boat, detach. Second one can detach too. You're going for Barham. Well, T7, you are going for Lion. There we go, launching. T7 seems to be probably getting out alive. Barham now coming into range of T5. We keep steady for a little bit. Also, maybe just turn those torpedoes on. I should have done that. There we go. Just had to get the torpedoes off. She was taking fire. T6. You are next. Engine out on T5. She might not make it, actually. Conqueror is your target. This time, let's turn the torpedoes on in time. Last torpedo boat is T8. I'm thinking you're going to be aiming at Conqueror as well. Let's quickly do something about the guns here on the battleships. Because we got some targets coming in. I gotta remember that the battleships are not the furthest leftward unit on the roster here. That would be the armored cruisers, which also now should select some targets. They're going to be targeting the light cruisers with their main guns. And these pesky torpedo boats with their secondary guns. actually Barham as a good target for you. Torpedoes on. I could be losing some torpedo bolts to this attack, but I could also be earning a lot of torpedo hits. There we go. Torpedoes are striking the enemy battleships. Up to 4 torpedo hits so far, 5. I think it's time to have the British on the thumbnail. It's not every day you see 13 battleships in a close formation like this. Oh, wait. I thumbnailed too soon. There we go. I hunger for flash fires. I did some more looking at the AI battle behavior, by the way, so that's why we're seeing the enemy being very aggressive with their torpedo boats this time compared to some other battles. Not that it helped them much, but they're just running face first into a wall of secondary fire. There we go. The cruisers are now also receiving very heavy fire. 1 inch of armor in total. I should have brought more high explosives for those 10-inch cruiser guns. In fact, let's bring the other torpedo boats into the action as well, with the shorter range torpedoes that may or may not get stuck when they traverse around. It's 2.5 kilometers is, I think, enough. In this case. These are 3 torpedo boats that may not make it. Unless we can have some battleship secondary fire cover them. It only ended up with 9 torpedo hits. I would have thought we'd get more. Barham took 5 of those torpedoes alone. That was a great sacrifice. We're gonna torpedo their light cruiser AES, actually. We lost 1 torpedo boat. I got 4 more coming in here. Let's boost those up to full speed. Well, these light cruisers should be cleared away soon, so it should be an opening to move out here and hit the battleships, maybe from like this side. Actually, hit those armored cruisers. E5. Never know. Might get some hits there. Boudica. That could be your target. Can you launch? That's the question. Some of those launchers have been taken out. You are detaching, you are smoking. You're going for MD Hansen. T8 lost before she could launch. Well, lost before she can launch the second round. She did get her first bunch of torpedoes away. Doing quite a bit of damage, actually. 2.5 kilometer torps. So we need to get a little bit closer here. Armored cruisers, please do cover these torpedo bolts. You're clear to launch as soon as you're in range. But you gotta get a little bit closer first. Same with T12, now with the rudder out. Actually getting closer. Oh, it's lagging so bad. There you go, torps away. You know what? If you're just gonna be annoying to my torpedo boats, you're gonna get some torpedoes. That's a lot of hits on Lion. There's 4 hits on Apollo. Apollo will go down. That's the entire bottom of the ship blown out. T-12 probably also go down. Yeah, Apollo went down. Nice to see. That was being very annoying. That cruiser. Yeah, T-13 is hurting bad. Can't really get away. T-11 has the rudder out. We're gonna strike Lion again, maybe. This would be the easiest target. There's a whole bunch of ships here in that smoke screen. I was hoping to hit more than just Lion in the case, but was not so lucky. Maybe these will not live on to get refit, but that's fine. I can always build more. Let's get rid of these pesky armored cruisers. And work our way back closer to the enemy main fleet. What kind of armor are we looking at here? Not that much. Speed it up a little bit. Solferino. You can target a battleship. Well, here comes another unit of torpedo boats. And Ocean, you can also target a battleship. Enemy battleships receiving main belt penetrations at this range. That is something you like to see. only having Mark 1 10-inch guns on a battleship, not really cutting it by the 1900s. Very funky design though. But they always tend to be built on those hulls. Bulwark took a main belt pen from a 13.5. What's your main armor? 13 plus 6. My 10s could potentially go through that, actually. But I think I'll leave that to the battleships. Let's see, accidentally gave a move order because the ships kept sinking that I was going to target. That's no good. There we go. Good thing I caught it in time. Alright, I've sent these armored cruisers straight into this mess. I'm not sure if it's coming through on the video, but the frame rate is very often dipping down below 10 frames per second. Sitting at 20 now, but there you go, a lot of flash fires. When it dips down like that, it becomes very cumbersome trying to issue any orders at all without pausing the game. I think that light cruiser just ate a bunch of shells that were meant for the battleship Zealandia. Battleship about to go down. MD Hansen also eating some pretty big hits. I can turn this line and wrap around this group here now. These ships here are going down. They're nothing to worry about. Yes, main guns and secondary guns. Perfect. Solferino. Main guns and secondary guns. Ocean. You can target Repulse with the main guns. Birmingham with the secondaries. Tourville. Duke of Edinburgh, I guess, with the main guns. Now that leaves a bunch of armored cruisers that need something to do. You can see what you can do about these battleships. Actually, you got pretty punchy 10-inch guns. They should work. MD Hansen is still afloat, but very badly damaged. These poor armored cruisers. At just under 4,000 tons. I think these are from a an older version of DIP. Before the initial armored cruiser size was bumped up to 6,000 tons. It's a killing blow on MD Hansen. My battleships are charging straight in. Not even caring about this division of armored cruisers. That's not even acting as a roadblock. Bulwark goes down, having been smacked with a 13.5-inch hit to the main belt. Let's see, Britannia, you can take care of that one. Tourville, already taking care of the other. Solferino, Repulse is your target. Ocean, Conqueror, right at the edge of your main gun range. But don't worry, we're gonna get you closer. These guys gone. And Birmingham goes down as well. Let's accelerate. Let's get closer to these battleships. We're much faster than they are. Especially when their lead ship takes a flooding hit like that. Which will probably knock out some engines. Yep. I can slow down again. Cruising speed. My cruisers have plenty of ammunition left. One more battleship down. Only 5 left of initial 13. So we've sank a lot of them already. Decently tough though, maximum bulkheads, and if I'm not mistaken, this ironclad hull has some pretty decent resistance stat as well. "26 torpedo hits so far. We might get more, because remember, these battleships also have torpedoes. You get a flash fire on Conqueror, 4 torpedo hits. Sealing your fate. Might as well just watch the fireworks. Well, I think this is just about over now. Wanted to have a little cinematic moment at the end there. Up to 31 torpedo hits, all told. That's not bad for 1904. That's the kind of numbers you'd pull late game with long-range oxygen torpedoes. Granted, a lot of those torpedo hits were on the same few ships because we don't get near the same spread as with the late game. Like 20-kilometer oxygen torpedoes, but still. Hercules, hanging in there. Albemarle, hanging in there. Let's make sure the battleships are giving them equal attention. And the armored cruisers can actually cease fire. Let's turn off the secondaries too on the battleships. "12-inch main belt pens on Hercules. Ocean is out of AP. Solferino almost out of AP. Yeah, they're all running low now on ammunition. Ocean still scoring penetrating hits though with HE, hitting some casemates. Casemate pens, yeah. That's Hercules down. Albemarle, last ship afloat. Once proud British ironclad that should probably have been scrapped, or at the very least refit. I do like these very weird ironclad looking pre-dreadnoughts though. If or when I do another British campaign, I am definitely starting in the 1890s and building, if not necessarily this exact ironclad, because they've got like 5 different ones. At least something like that. The ship of the line. Bit of iron. Now, the Second Battle of the Nile. Didn't exactly go as well for the British as the first one. There we go. Finally some more main belt pens. From the 12-inch guns that still had armor-piercing shells. 47 ships sunk for the loss of 6 torpedo boats. I don't even think I needed to do that second torpedo boat charge. Should have stuck with the initial plan of just sending them home and having them refit. But yeah, that was pretty nice. But that was a long battle too. And we've got one more. That is not for today, that's for sure. Here, outside of Singapore, which it does look like we took. This time they have no battleships. But they do have a lot of armored cruisers. Again, this Euryalus with the 8-inch guns. And some of these Natals with single barrel 11s. I'm not sure if I remember building that one, but apparently I did. It's another 12,000 tonner. So they've built actually 3 different of my shared assigned armored cruisers from roughly the same era. The Natal and the Bacanti with the 10-inch guns, and another one. I forget the third one with the 9s, with the 6 9-inch guns. More Pomone class light cruisers. We've seen those before. Low staffed as well. Teaser torpedo boats. That's an AI design. Right. Could be a fight, depending on if these are Mark II 11-inch guns. Then they have a lot of 11-inch guns that could do some trouble if they're Mark IIs. Like, not quite up to battleship standard of guns, but they're pretty powerful. Definitely threaten my armored cruisers. We'll find out next time. Goodbye and take care.